Okay, welcome to Economics Topic 7, Test Review, Study Guide. So let's look at the very first one here. What would be the primary measure of a nation's income as well as output? This is something that we have talked about. How do we measure it? Let me make sure. And that is going to be, hopefully you're all screaming gross domestic product, and that is one of the biggest indicators that we use, and that measures our income and output. Why would the Federal Reserve Bank lower interest rates to commercial banks? Okay, so let's think about this. If they lower interest rates to commercial banks, then if I wanted to start a business, I can get a lower interest rate. It's going to encourage me to open that business, or if I have an existing business, maybe to expand. So lowering that interest rate is going to encourage borrowing. People are going to want to borrow, and therefore that's going to, stimulate the economy. It's going to increase economic activity. The next one, external shocks can alter business cycles by affecting what? We're kind of in 2020 with COVID, we've really seen this firsthand. External shocks, we've got COVID's external shock. There's a toilet paper shortage. We had a shortage of PPE equipment for a while. There's still some products on the shelves that I can't find. So it affects the aggregate supply. And aggregate means the supply of everything in the United States. So that external shock is affecting supply. People aren't working. Now let's talk about how savings leads to capital deepening. And you had this infographic on your lesson. So if I asked you the question, how does capital investment lead to growth? If I save money or all of that, I can invest it like you see here. I can invest it in stocks. I can have a rainy day fund. Businesses can use the money that's invested into them. Like, if I sit here and invest money into stocks and bonds, then that business can use that money to purchase more goods. And that's a really good thing. Helps the economy. You need to know examples of seasonal unemployment. If I gave you a list, you should be able to identify which one's the seasonal unemployment. And again, seasonal unemployment, that's like lifeguards in the summer or snow ski instructors in this, winter. They're only going to work for a certain amount of time. Those would be seasonal. Jobs at Christmas. If wages stayed the same, flat, so like a fixed income, but inflation continued, what would be the result? And that just means, like, if you never got a raise, but the cost of everything was more expensive, you wouldn't be able to afford as much as you used to be able to. You'd be going, okay, $500 doesn't go as far. I can only buy 10 instead of 20. Wage price spiral, yeah. So if I show you this infographic and ask you, okay, the increased wages for workers could result in what? So if we increase the wages, what's it going to do? We're going to turn around and we're going to have a demand, and it's written right here, demand for higher wages in many industries, because AmGrow's wage increase has caused produce for everybody to be increased. So then everybody's going to be going, hey, I need more money. My money's not going as far. Know how to read a chart. Yeah. If you're given a chart about the cost of gasoline, and I said, tell me what happened in 2008. Hopefully you're going to be able to read it. It's a line graph, and you're going to be able to read that and say, prices dropped dramatically. And when prices drop, that increases what? demand. But they dropped because there was a decrease in demand. If we're in a financial crisis, people are going to be like, I'm not going on vacation. I'm not driving to Florida. So if they're not buying gasoline, demand goes down. So prices have got to drop in order to get people to buy it again. This was that one that we talked about, the percentage of income, how it is spread out when we start talking about income equity. What you should be able to read this chart and conclude stuff from it. You know, if I look at the bottom 80%, they make less than half of the nation's income because they're 49.8, so it's less than half. The bottom 20% does not, they only earn 3%. The bottom 40, that would be these two right here. Okay, they're only earning, here's the cumulative, the bottom two are only earning 11.8%. And if I look at the top 40%, so that's these two, this fourth and fifth quintiles, they are earning more than 70%. Where do I get that? Well, what's 50.2 plus 23.4? That's 73.6. So they are earning more than 70% of our nation's income. And that should be good. Hope you've enjoyed studying. Don't forget to do Quizlet and study your vocabulary words, and I will see you for the tests.